welcome to me building another car in automation. Today we are building the new China Turismo, which I've already called the Red Star 1. Because apparently in China the first two cars were actually called the 1 and the 2, and yeah, I decided to stick with that. Also, I'm lazy. Now, as you can see, this is a 55 car, still built in 69, still gonna have 69, or 69, yes, because that number is completely my brain. 62, and a 62 car, but the body is from 55. Now, these cars were built for the political leaders. These were not available to normal people, at least. Like, I watched a short video on cars in China and how the industry started. And yeah, they didn't have these for ordinary people, so I'm gonna keep that in mind. Like, it's gonna be a shitty car, but it's gonna attempt, imagine the designers don't really know much, but they want to build a car for the political leaders, but they don't have the resources to do something grand, so it's, yeah, that's kind of what I'm going for. I'm gonna fail that completely and forget about that, but, you know. Now I'm just gonna quickly throw together a chassis and I'll show you that, and we'll continue as always. Alright. It's just a steel ladder, steel body. It's extremely cheap. Front longitudinal engine, so I can make it rear wheel drive, of course. And coils front and rear. And then the engine. I think I'm gonna go with a tiny that is amazing 500cc engine, essentially a moped engine. So I'm going to design this and then I'll see you once it's finished. Alright, and here is the engine. Like we already established, it's a 500cc inline 3 engine. I've made it cast iron block and head material with push rods for the head and valves. Everything in here is kept cheap and easy, especially because it doesn't need anything else. It already revs high enough. I could technically, if I put a balance shaft, I can rev this thing to 10,000 RPM. Except it doesn't have any power there, so why would you? Compression, extremely low. Cam profile, 51. Springs for 73. The reason for that is the fuel. Because I decided, okay, this thing is gonna run on really cheap fuel. So I put it to unleaded, low quality 85, and then remove 10. This thing is running on 75 RON. And yes, it makes 22 horsepower. We are right at the edge. It has a single bulk carburetor with a compact intake, the highest ratios to make sure this thing can run. Ignition timing is extremely low because, well, I couldn't put it anywhere higher, and the RPM limit is at 6,800. The exhaust is cast log with a tiny 12.7mm exhaust size, which is exhaust diameter of 500. Don't know what that means. Okay, well, that's inches, so that's less than an inch. Yeah, this is the only time when the exhaust diameter here is actually in imperial, so I can just show that. And nothing for mufflers and other stuff. And here's how it sounds. Sounds like an angry bee or something like that, which I guess kind of fits. By using the 4-door version, and yeah, I'm just gonna design this again, put all this stuff in it, and then I will show that off to you. All right, here we are with the car part finished. It's a longitudinal rear-wheel drive manual 2-speed gearbox with a top speed of 101. Couldn't set it to 102. Apparently it does not reach 100. Oops. Spacing 37 because I wanted to get like roughly halfway there without, having too much issue starting. No whisper though. That's something. I had to make the front tires thinner than the rear tires, even though I didn't want to, because usually you don't do it like this. It's expensive to have two different types of tires, but I had to because otherwise the thing would oversteer constantly. Not sure how much of an issue that would be with this car, but I didn't wanna. Like, this thing was, I wanted to give it a chance by at least making it good enough for what it's supposed to be. Brakes, I think these are fairly well. These are good enough. Yeah, nothing for aerodynamics, obviously. Standard and basic AM, which, good enough. And no power steering. 50 safety. And, some comfort settings for the suspension. So there you have it. And the design, durability, the design comes afterwards, is what I meant to say. Durability stats are horrible, sportiness is horrible, comfort, well, the suspension and wheels is helping, prestige is horrible, safety is horrible, practicality is better than expected, utility is horrible, off-road is somehow better than expected, but still absolutely horrible, and 21.2 liters per 100 kilometers is horrible. This thing is horrible, but that should be obvious. Now, I'm gonna go design this car, and afterwards you get the cool cinematic, then I'm gonna talk it through, and then I'm going straight to BeamNG Drive. Alright, and here is the finished Red Star 1. Turns out it didn't actually have a badge with a star, so I had to improvise, and this looks horrible, and I'm hoping to be able to replace it. Red Star text, Chinese license plate, and in the front an actual hood ornament of a Chinese dragon. Because apparently one of the actual Chinese early cars actually had one, so yay. The lights in the front look weird, but it's the best I could come up with for this. Other than that, it's extremely bland without much to it. Only has one wing mirror. And the rear has weird lights, but it's the only thing I could come up with. Also, look at how fucking tiny the engine is. It is adorable. Alright, and here we are in BeamNG Drive with, on the left, the Red Star 1 and on the right, the old China Turismo. Now, they've obviously changed. There's already been a lot of change because the abilities goes completely differently. But I think you can still sort of tell because of just how simple they're both still built. Although the rear, well, no, there's still a bit of similarity. A small amount at least. Now, as always, let's drive the old China Turismo. just to see how bloody terrible it is. I have not driven any of these cars in forever. Well, it's driving, just going forwards. Actually, I forgot. I think this thing only had 2 gears. I think the new one also only has 2 gears, so we're keeping that. I'm gonna do it like this because I don't trust the game to shift on its own with this car. Because, you know, it's not allowed to hit the rough limit, otherwise the engine breaks. In a bad way. In a really bad way. Top speed? No. Cornering? Well, there's not much cornering it needs to do. It just needs to drive. Oh. Or crash, that works. And still does look up. I'm surprised that it can get up here. So it was a struggle. This thing also had a tiny, yes, this thing also had a tiny, but I think this one even had the smallest possible in 9.3. But yes, this car still sucks. Now, let's try the new. First off, oh right. You can actually hit the rev limiter. That's good. Let's set it back to arcade and let's just go. That is a bit faster. It is picking up speed. I think it will be able to actually reach 100 kilometers an hour. Well, at least I thought it would. I'm just gonna keep going straight because I want to see. Because if I check another time, then it doesn't really matter because the back straight is downhill. So this is not downhill, just straight road. And speed limit 100. Yeah, we're trying. We're trying. Bit of downhill. 95. As you can see, we did not reach 100. And the reason why my audio just suddenly cut off is because my mom just burst into my room. Because parents can't read a giant sign that says that I'm recording. Anyways, let's do the usual stuff of, you know, heading into the actual driving area and going and seeing the I forgot what I was talking about. Right, the water area. No, that's not gonna matter for this car. Oh yeah, I forgot to put it in. Oops. Okay, now I can downshift. Anyways, the water area is not gonna matter for this car. Off-road is gonna be weird. And handling and the other stuff, who cares? Or rather, this thing is so slow that there's really not much to be done for hand. Holy shit, that's I've seen so far. Okay then. I guess starting at 22 horsepower is not enough. Yeah, I'm not sure what you expected. Next, let's just head over to the off-road circuit. I'm actually gonna put a cut here so you don't have to wait for the car to drive. And there we are. Let's reset the car and let's just go. Can I? No. This thing is so different to all the cars I've built until now. You know, soft suspension is actually doing good stuff here. Yeah, no, soft suspension works. Yay. I also love how you don't have to worry about the rear spinning out on this car because, well, you know. Oh no. Oh no. At least the brakes are good enough. Let me just... Right, let's just... Why does it always spawn you facing in the wrong direction? Yay. Perfect. Okay, I left how the buttons didn't work there for a second. Right, I have a feeling we're gonna have to go around with this car. Well, the brakes work quite well. Thank you for actually fucking steering. Yeah, I'm not sure why my controller is only half working. But it does do that sometimes. Yeet. Oh, that broke the... Okay. Huh. Well, you can get up here. Yeah, I'm just gonna... Yeet. Perfect. Oh no. There we go. Dorifto. Yeah. That was horrible. Yay. I love how these thin-ass wheels are just incapable. Or like, not incapable, like, you can see them flex around hard corners. Can you actually go to a gear that gives you power? Yeah, the arcade gearbox is not good for cars that are dumb and weird. Well, at least it handles well. But that's not because I built that good, it's because the engine is shit and you don't need a lot of handling. And even then you have moments like that. I love how we actually lose speed across that tiny bump. Okay, well, it's still very much the China Turismo, and that thing was very much the Common Turismo because this is like the only car that I completely ripped off from Consider. But I think I can make this kind of car work while keeping it, we're still keeping the engine shitty, but giving it a bit of its own design and having this attempt to be luxurious and stuff, but it's always behind times and the engine will always suck. Maybe next time I'll put the tiniest V8 that I can in here. I'm surprised you can keep speed around that. Now, we're not actually gonna do a full run. Instead, there is only one thing I want to test, and afterwards we'll immediately be starting the time trial. because we've already spent more than enough time here. And this is what I mean. We're just gonna take this car down the back straight, because that is downhill for enough time. And there we go. Let's see how much, what kind of top speed it can reach on totally even ground. Or, sorry, no, on a downslope, sorry. Totally even ground is what it's gonna have to do the 0-100 test on, and I have a feeling it's not gonna reach 100. But on here, it does. 108. I thought I pressed the downshift button twice, thus putting this thing into neutral and letting it glide down at faster than that, but nope, I fucked that up. Can I actually keep up the speed? You can. That's something. No, it can't. We are slowly losing speed. Can I keep up 100? No. Ooh. Can't make around this bend without braking though. And we're on downward slow again. Anyways, let's bring this thing to the time trial to see what it can do. And here we are. This thing is gonna do abysmal. I'm only gonna do one run. We're not gonna have the issue of not we're not gonna have the issue of fucking up a run by getting off the track or hitting something, so yeah, this thing gets one try. I'm gonna go into manual gearbox for this car. And this is the reason why. And now we can go back into second gear. Is this a slight upslope? Yes, yes it is. I'm gonna buzz the limiter for a bit. There we go. Alright, it does look surprisingly nice for what it is. Okay, thank you game for just not, like, I don't know why it does that. I didn't press the camera knob any further than that, but it had decided that my camera is to continue spinning though I don't see anything, which is fun. Anyways, I'm not quite sure what to do here. I guess we keep low. Yes, that seems to have worked. Yeah, that is significantly longer than all the other vehicles, but it was a lot nicer to drive. I didn't have to try 20 billion times, and I can just go and get ourselves a time. 2:20:04. It always adds extra time. Yeah, of course a D and Q there. But a 220. I'm gonna quickly add that to the board, and yeah, and there we go. I have now put the red star in 10th place with a time of 2:20:063 because there's no way that anything else is slower. Anyways, that was the new and improved red star, because I wanted to move away from having it be a complete copy of the Commentarismo, which means this thing is now going to be the public officials car for China, which means it's going to attempt to be luxurious and nice, but it's not gonna be, at least not until we get to, let's say, the 2000s. Yeah, like maybe the 90s, 2000s is when I'm gonna make a actually good red star. Also, the game is quite laggy today, and I don't know why. But that doesn't matter anymore, because, well, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you next time when we build another car in automation.